Hello, party people!
Beep, 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 beep.
Welcome to another episode of Genius Brain. I am your host, Joe Jitsukawa.
And I'm your host, David Slow.
And we have a very special person today that we trained with in the morning. We said, why don't you just come along and eat some dumplings and be on our show today, Nick?
And I was like, that sounds like a terrible idea, but I'll do it anyway.
Oh, and by the way, if you guys have seen an episode before this where there was a constant mic touching, it was because Nick is a fidgety motherfucker.
It was Joe the whole time.
Hey, I got ADD, but I know how to be on camera.
Joe's a professional, and I'm just a fucking amateur.
You took the ADD test, right?
Yep.
So
10
you're
out of 10, bro.
I don't think you needed to take the test though. I think it was
funny?
highly
What's the
apparent.
test?
It's only it's kind of like, so there's a questionnaire, right? And it's a fuck, I forgot the name of the book, but it's like ADHD, the ADHD, it's something positive, like it's like the advantage, ADHD advantage or something like that.
Positive.
Right? So like basically the intro has this 10-part questionnaire, and it's like, you know, if you have 6 out of 10, you probably have adult ADD or ADHD or whatever.
Oh shit.
I got 10 out of 10.
Damn, dude.
10 out
you
of fucking
aced it,
10.
bro.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And you know what's interesting? I posted that thing, and my friend, I went to high school with her, and she's now a clinical psychologist, and her whole thing, all she does is diagnose children with ADD or ADHD or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she was like, she's like, you know what? Come to think of it, like, we had a class together.
Mm-hmm.
I was fucking butt ass wild. Like, I remember I had her sit on my lap. We would flirt. Like, we would fuck around so much in class. And then my teacher would call my parents and then tell them, like, I think he needs special school.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. You know, it's interesting because I have a friend right now who is kind of, so, you know, within, I think, immigrant communities, when they hear ADHD, right, or autism or something.
Or anything.
Anything.
Yeah, anything.
Their immediate response when somebody who was
Depression, anxiety,
they
bipolar,
go,
anything.
They go, you don't have that because my kid's not stupid. That's how
They think we were defected or some shit. They don't understand it. I mean,
They gotta get rid of you. That's what they have to think. In
yeah,
their
like
head.
300, you know, just throw them over the cliff. Raise your shield.
He's like, oh, you can't get the fuck out of here.
my child is not a defect.
Yeah, and I have a friend now, and for some reason it's very prevalent with kids with autism, where when a professional says, hey, you might want to check your kid to see if they have autism, that person's not telling you that your kid's fucking dumb. They're saying that if, I don't people realize too, depending on the level of autism, if you catch it early, you can actually do a lot of behavioral therapy that'll help them adjust to it a lot if you catch it at an early age.
Yeah, that's what Tiff used to do. She used to be a behavioral therapist.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So she knows, you know.
She knows what's up.
It could be like
Just getting
on the
that help.
spectrum. It could be like, you know, there's different levels of everything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, I don't think I'm much more controlled now. And then the older you become, you're supposed to be able to kind of like control it better, and all that stuff. And I think clear, and with age, it's supposed to get better. But I've met people that I'm like, oh my God, you are fucking out of this world.
I think that's what people felt about you when they met you. Dude, I remember the first time I met this fool. We were at the San Diego Asian Film Festival, and we were watching this Jackie Chan film, right? And this
Already
fool
dope.
cracked me the fuck up because we were sitting in the theater, and a bunch of just Chinese letters started coming out, right? And this fool, no joke, I just met this dude. He goes, the fuck, I can't read that shit. Like in the middle of the theater, dude. And bro, I was in tears laughing. And this lady next to us was getting so mad. She goes, can you tell your friend to be quiet? And I didn't really know him at the time. I was like, that guy's not my friend. I said, I just met him. I don't know what you're talking about. But I was in tears laughing because it sounded so genuine.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think, like, the number one thing that most people tell you is that, like, your ADHD, like, symptoms? Like, what do people that notice that you do where people are like, dude, you might have ADHD?
No one ever told me that.
Really?
No.
People tell me that all the time.
Oh, like the excessive mic
You know
touching.
what? Okay, so in the
I'm
book,
just tapping.
in the book, they say that people with ADHD or ADD, they tend to gravitate toward athletics or entrepreneurialism, or like
That's you.
Yeah,
That's you doing
Yeah,
that.
that's literally
it's
double
interesting because it's just that's where they thrive, I guess. I
Because
mean,
you're going to wake up tomorrow at 4 a.m. to go running for a all-day karate camp, right?
yeah, tomorrow, yeah,
All day.
yeah. And I wish I found it earlier in life because it's helped me so fucking much. I didn't start becoming like really athletic until I was 30. Yeah.
Me neither.
Until I was 30 years old, I didn't start doing that stuff.
You feel like that helped you out a lot?
Fuck yeah, dude. It helped me so much. Like, if I had parents like Michael Phelps' parents, right? Once he was diagnosed with ADHD, instead of putting him on pills, they put him in some type of athletic.
And now look at him, Olympic athlete. Dude. You could have been a fucking Olympic athlete.
You just keep going, man. Like when you hit the zone, you're just in this place where you just, oh, this is my first lap. This is my first lap. This is my first lap. You're like a fucking goldfish.
Yeah.
And then that's why I think my cardio is kind of good because like I forget how tired I am.
Yeah.
Once I get to this stage, I'm like, all right, let's go again. Let's go again. Let's go again.
I find any reason to stop once I start breathing heavy, dude. I'm the first one to drop on the floor. I'm like, I need to get.
And at that point, we can't like pick you up. We can't be like, hey, like you got this. Once he drops on the floor, it's like the ultimate trump card. It's like, all right, well, what the fuck do we do now?
I was like, I refuse. I'm not going to be a fighter.
And then
And what I realized too is that if you do have ADHD or whatever, we're it's not that we're not able to focus. We can actually hyper focus for very long periods of time on certain things if it is something that is extremely stimulating. So like, I mean, a lot of people experience phases of this, like when you go through the rabbit hole online.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, that feeling when you're like researching constantly and it's been 4 hours.
Dude, that happens to me all the fucking time.
Yeah.
every night.
That's why I have to stay away from my phone at night because I just have like this obscure amount of knowledge about shit that doesn't matter. You know, because it's that rabbit hole. They go, why do you know that? I was like, I actually don't know. I think I might have read it at night, like during the rabbit hole shit.
Yeah.
It's always like this random obscure thing that just sparks my interest. And I go, I have to know about this.
Oh, like the Rocky
like
film tip you gave us.
Why the fuck do I know that? I don't know why I know that. I don't know where I read it. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just always this thing that always sparks my interest and it just gets me going through that rabbit hole and it goes non-fucking stop. And I didn't realize how jittery and active I was until I lost the weight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the fat was holding me down. It counteracted my ADHD. And then now I can't stop moving. I'm super wiggly. And then Mariel kind of hates it.
Yeah, she's like, I wish you were fat again.
Yeah, remember those times when you would just stay the fuck still?
And you would just sleep and then have trouble.
You were probably
breathing.
expressing it, but then you were just not moving because it was all internal.
I'm just like, she's like chilling, just like picking her nose. She's like, what are you doing? Just stay still. I was like, can't do it. Like I always try to roundhouse kick her in the stomach all the time.
And she's like, dude, I need you to be fat again.
She starts feeding me more food. She goes, you sure you don't want butter?
Let's go to Shake Shack. Let's go to Shake Shack again.
Yeah, when I do want to take that test. I kind of wonder if I would hit some of it.
I feel like a lot of creative people have some, I guess, form of it. It's usually prevalent in childhood, and as you become older, the signs or symptoms go away, and you're able to think clear and all that stuff. But in the most severe cases, it's like it gets crazier.
Yeah,
crazier as in like more intense. You know?
Do people get medicated for ADD?
Oh yeah, you get.
Sure.
That's what Adderall is for.
Oh,
so if you do have ADD or ADHD, what Adderall is supposed to do is help you focus throughout the day. But if you don't have it, you take it and you're focusing like crazy on tasks that you don't even want to. But a lot of people use it to study and things.
A whole bunch of people I know use that shit to study. That's supposed to be meth, isn't it?
It has the same chemical, like I guess, structure as
they
meth.
They just change a couple nitrogen over here.
But it's basically meth.
Yeah.
I did this shoot out in Lancaster, and I couldn't, basically, 3 Red Bulls, however many monster drinks I took wasn't helping me enough. And I started getting a crash. So my buddy who's a director, he goes, just take this pill. And I was like, what is this? He goes, it's fucking Adderall. And, for me, I don't really like drugs, but I had to drive all these people and equipment back from Lancaster to LA and I haven't slept at all. It's been like 24 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm going to take this Adderall and see what happens. So I took this Adderall. Dude, I fucking missed the exit by like 4 exits because I was so zoned in. So I was just hyper focused, just like this. And then when somebody woke up, like, where are we? I looked around. I was like, oh, fuck, I missed the exit by like 4 or 5 miles.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. Not 4 exits, like 4 or 5 miles. But it was crazy how hyper focused. It kind of freaked me out a little bit, to the point where I drove like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I didn't realize I was driving that long.
That's dangerous.
That's fucking dangerous.
Also, Lancaster, I think, is like the meth capital of like
makes sense
of like California at least.
It is.
Who told me recently that the reason why a lot of like crack addicts or meth heads, they they have a bunch of sores on their face is because that chemical secretes out in their skin, and that's where they get a hit from it. That's why you see them
that's
like
crazy.
picking at their skin and eating it or some shit.
I don't know about that.
I'm not sure if that's a fact, but somebody told me that.
You and your facts, bro. Like you're chock full of them.
I gotta really know where these sources come from because I just read them too fast. But I heard that's why you see them with so many sores on their face because they're scratching their skin because that's where they can get like a quick hit from it.
I don't know, but when you're like we're going through withdrawal, like people tend to itch a lot because
that probably makes more sense than what I just said.
You're just kind of like, oh my God, and it's intense, and then like when you itch, it's soothing, right? It feels good, or if you like kind of like give yourself a little pain, that kind of removes the pain of withdrawal. Yeah. So I think it's intense. Like people really want that crack or meth or whatever they're going through, and I think that's pretty much why people scratch so much.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense.
So you know that so there's like this book of symptoms, right? Like it's called a DSM whatever, but it's basically like that's where you find a definition for bipolar, like everything.
That's where people get diagnosed with.
Yeah, right? Diagnosis, right? But then in psychology, so like that's what I majored with. One of my professors were like, everyone has something. Everyone has like so, and then to look at this like as a disease or a defect or something's wrong with you, he's like, it's stupid. It's so stupid because it's not really an issue because everyone has something in the book. So so that's like the biggest scam in the world, right? So if it's almost like saying everyone has this form of cancer.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like, well, then that means it's normal.
It's a spectrum. Right.
Right. That means that if everyone has it, then doesn't that mean that it's normal because everyone has it? Like, show me a person that doesn't have anything. That's the weird one.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any, but it's like when it becomes a problem is when it takes over your life. Because the way we're approaching depression or any adversity now, right? Pill popping. Yeah. Like I was just listening to this talk radio shit, right? And they're saying like people can't even deal with normal grief because people have this idea that you have to be happy 24/7.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
So like if let's say a death happens in your family, right? Like you're supposed to go through grief, you're supposed to go through depression, you're supposed to mourn that person, cry, whatever. But people become so much in denial that they're sad because they're supposed to be tougher than that, or they're supposed to deal with it in a better way, and they start feeling bad or guilty that they're even sad that someone died, and then they want the sadness to go away, so they take antidepressants or they take some painkillers or they take something to numb the pain instead of going through the natural human experience of depression or whatever.
That's what I would like from a lot of people. I remember back in the day, so we did this JK News article, and there's this girl named Jen M. Love that girl. She's super sweet. But something happened within her business that it didn't go well, right? It just tanked, and it made her sad. And she says, I've been suffering from depression. And then my argument was, well, that's not really depression because we know the source for your sadness, right? It's not something that's out of your control. If that event didn't happen, you would be happy as fuck if your business did well.
Yeah.
So because of that, that's just momentary sadness. And I said that it was a little irresponsible to use it that way. Like I said, I love the girl, and that's not what she meant, but I said that. And then people got a little upset. No, people suffer from depression. I was like, no, very true. What I was saying is that she openly stated that she was sad because her business didn't do well.
Yeah.
So now we're dealing with somebody who's having trouble dealing with adversity.
Yes. So there's a huge gray area right now because this word depression, I think the two big buzzwords in psychology is like anxiety, depression, right? A lot of people talk about it. Oh, I got anxiety. I have crippling anxiety. I can't go out. I don't want to see people. Social anxiety, this anxiety, right? Depression too. Like, oh, I'm suffering from depression, like whatever. I think when it becomes clinical depression it's a different when it
realm.
Ruins your life to the point where it's crippling. You can't leave the house and you start becoming physically sick, and it could turn into something worse. And people actually go through that, which is legitimate, like deep depression, right? Like, and the thing is, like, everyone goes through depression, but it depends on how long you go through it for and how bad it affects your everyday.
The severity, right?
Yeah. So like if someone dies in your family, I think like crying every day for a couple weeks straight is completely normal. But some people see it as they're defected. And I think when we say stuff like, oh, you're not really going through depression, I think we're trying to change that perspective, because there's a lot of like family members that'll be like, stop being a bitch, stop being weak, stop doing this. So I think a lot of people are just kind of at this point where they're fed up and they're like, no, we just need to like accept that this depression exists. But the definition, I think people don't understand what the severe depression is versus like a mild form of depression.
Because I get scared of people sometimes using that as a crutch to be the way that they are.
Yeah.
Right. So if they have negative habits, they can always lean back and say, well, I'm suffering from depression, so I can't be blamed for this. Because people always see this online persona all the time. It's like, well, you're always happy. Who the fuck says I'm always happy? You know?
See, that's they were saying that's also a cause of a lot of people's depression is social media, because they think the world around them is happy, which pressures them to feel they should be happy too.
Yeah. Because that social anxiety thing too, I don't like hanging out in big crowds.
You're an introvert, actually.
Yeah. If that's what social anxiety, I guess I have social anxiety too then, because I fucking hate that shit.
Right, but you challenge yourself to become social or whatever, right?
Yeah, recently I was invited out to go to a viewing. I only knew one of the guys there. I didn't really give a fuck about anybody else. And I was like, dude, just being in this situation is going to make me feel really uncomfortable. But I said, you know what, dude? Just go out, see this guy. He's a really nice dude. Just do it anyways, right? So I don't have crippling anxiety.
Yeah.
But I do understand. I understand social anxiety. I get it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I get scared because I don't want people to come at me and say, well, now you're being very dismissive of how I feel. I'm not being dismissive. I'm saying that I understand it. But now and
they don't know that you're not talking about the people with very severe social anxiety, like they've been abused and they're just afraid of connecting with human beings. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about the more milder form, where people can actively try to to change their environment and do different. But then now, like any form of adversity, they treat that level of social anxiety as if someone went through deep, dark trauma and they're just like in a crazy dark place. But it was like maybe they got made fun of a little bit. Yeah. And now like they don't want to go out and go to any parties or anything. So that's a lot different from someone who was constantly like beat up at school, repeatedly bleeding. And then they went through some PTSD trauma. And that's very different from someone who was teased just a little bit.
That's why I like a lot of people who talk about trying to at least change your mind state a lot. Yeah. So it's not as if when I first did stand up, I was confident as fuck. I remember the first time I did stand up, fucking hand shaking, mic was shaking. I was just trying to blurt as many jokes as possible. I still remember how my stomach felt. It felt like my stomach was turning inside out. Yeah. When the first time I ever did stand up. So is that anxiety? Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt like I wanted to fucking die.
Yeah.
But I said, if this is something that I want to do, I have to go up again and again and again until that shit goes away. Yeah. It still doesn't, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If I do a very important stand-up show where, let's say like if I had somebody came up to me and said, you know what, I'm going to give you a big special and I want you to do it. This is your one chance to do it. You think if I did that right now, I wouldn't feel like I want to yak and throw up? You know, just because I did stand up since I was 16 doesn't mean that I don't get that feeling anymore.
Yeah, I think it's because you have a very proactive approach to life.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like some people, they go, despite the odds, I'm going to change my environment. I'm going to just, even though I feel like shit right now, I don't want to be in shit anymore.
Yeah.
But then there's also another group of people where they don't feel like they can control their destiny.
Yeah.
So I think the people that are in that world, their reality is more like, hey man, like don't tell me I can control this. I tried, I can't.
Yeah.
But so there's different, even in psychology, there's different schools of thought, right? There's the holistic side where more like you don't use pills, but you use your own like reinforcements. So meaning like
behavioral therapy type of shit, right?
Yeah, like, but even within cognitive behavioral therapy, some believe that you should do it along with pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Like, because you need the balance of taking your pills and then you have your treatment and then you can go that way. But there's also another camp that's like, nah, you don't need any pills. All you got to do is hit it straightforward and try to like, change your situation.
It seems like people's ability to like cope with certain situations is the big like issue, right? It's like some people have a better ability to cope with a stressful situation like you would experience. And then some people would be in that same position and be like, fuck no, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
Because that idea is so crippling to them that they're like, I can't do it. But your ability to cope with a certain situation is a lot easier for them. Well, not easier, but they're just able to say, okay, they're able to analyze what's happening and then move forward with that.
Yeah.
And it seems like sometimes I get clients that are like that too, where their relationship with like exercise or eating clean or whatever is they're just like, they look at it from a frame of, dude, I don't want to fucking do this. It sounds like the worst thing ever. And then they don't want to deal with their ability to like eat healthy or whatever that means to them.
I think to that point too, like I really want people to understand, I guess if there was a takeaway, is that when somebody says, from their perspective where they say, hey, like I go what you go through as well, I can empathize, but I'm trying to get you to change your mind, your position on it, right?
That's it.
To think positive. I don't want you to think that person's being dismissive of how you feel.
Right. But
you have a choice,
it's
right?
difficult because, so here's the thing. A lot of people have different perspectives, obviously, right?
That's the hard part.
So like the biggest problem here is we all live in different realities. Like the reality is what we believe in.
It's highly subjective. Yeah.
So I call this system called B.A.D, right? It's B.A.D, right? And then so like B stands for believe, A is like awareness, like self-awareness, and then D is like direction or discipline, right? So you use this in order to frame and change a person's mind. It all starts with belief. Like if you don't believe that something can be done, then you can't even have a conversation with them. So if some people believe that, hey, I'm diagnosed with depression, I'm gonna live with this all my life. This is I'm never gonna, it's always gonna be a part of who I am, right? There's other people that believe, hey, I am diagnosed with depression, but now I'm going to figure out how to change my situation. And this applies to anything. Like, hey, I'm poor. I'm going to be like this all my life. And there's other people like, I'm poor now, but I will not be because I'm going to do everything I can to get out of this. So you got to first attack their belief, not attack in the way where you debate them. I think a lot of it is like, this is your world, right? And when you want to show people your world, the more they feel attacked, the more they close up. Because what's happening is a lot of people want to be comfortable and they don't know that they're addicted to their repetitive like reality.
People get married to their circumstance a lot.
Right. Because it feels much better to have somebody go, oh, are you okay?
I'm like that too. I'm definitely
Everyone
like
is.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We don't know that it's happening.
That's true. And you get defensive when somebody tells you that that's what you're doing, and you want to tell them you don't fucking know me. You know?
You piece of shit.
Because it's like telling someone this. It's like, hey man, I feel sick. I'm sick, and then they're like, no, you're not. So that's what they hear. That's what they hear is that you just got to sleep. You'll be better. And you're just like, man, I just want to vent. Right. Sometimes I think you got to listen to what they're trying to say, and then once you got to help them frame their world. So then you change their belief system, and then you got to change the way that they are aware of their own like actions, right? Because if you don't have self-awareness, you can't look into yourself and start changing what needs to be done, or even know that you have the power to change your world and your reality and your whole entire thing. You feel defenseless, especially if you're depressed and you're just like at the bottom.
I think a lot of us too tend to speak from a very combative point of view, right? So it's so
it's
hard.
Too intense.
It's very intense, and it's very hard to get so I had to learn this specifically with Mariel. Only because how I grew up in my house, things were said very straightforward, and it is what it is.
Right.
So I don't get any feelings attached to things, right? So Mariel had a big issue with hearing the word no from me. I guess no was not really said much around her.
Because she took it as a personal attack.
Yes.
Right? It's not like you were denying her intelligence or anything, but she fills in the blanks and creates the story. I think that's where the self-awareness comes from. If she doesn't understand that she's doing that, she thinks you're the problem. You're fighting her. You're mean to her. You're the problem because you're hurting my feelings.
And it's coming from her point of view as I'm very demeaning towards her. It's like, and there's like we mentioned this before, where everybody has a lot of skeletons in their closet that they don't even realize it's there.
Yeah.
So if they, like for her, what she found out is that because I guess like how she grew up and, being in a Korean household, sometimes when Korean parents talk to you, they talk to you as if you're the dumbest person on earth. You know what I mean?
And sometimes we are.
Yeah, sometimes we are. And they talk to us like we're fucking dumb. And so sometimes, like, I guess when it comes from somebody close to her and she hears somebody go against what she's saying, what she doesn't hear is the word no. She hears you're stupid.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak for you because you don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
And for me, just objectively, I'm just saying, oh no, I disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but because that's how it was in my household, right? So I've learned now to just be a little more crafty with my words and not outright say no.
Right.
Definitely.
Because I have to understand, people's reality.
Exactly.
So that empathy has helped me out a lot. And I'm still struggling with it till this day.
Yeah.
Just because it's just, now she has to understand that's not how I grew up. Yeah. So help me.
Yeah. I mean,
give me
you guys
way.
are very vocal as a family. You guys argue, you guys talk, you guys deny each other, you debate. So it's a different reality completely because what makes our reality is the first 6 years that we spend in our household. We're just a open program. First 6 years of life, we're just learning everything of how a family is supposed to be, how the world is supposed to be, how people are supposed to treat each other.
Yeah.
None of this stuff is like we're making a decision. We're just absorbing. Yeah. So if someone violates that program, we go, you're wrong.
It's like a virus. A virus has entered.
Yeah. It's like
you want to attack it.
This is the real world. You're fucking it up. You're crazy. Yeah. So that's what ends up happening. So then moving on to the D part, that's basically direction or discipline. Mm-hmm. So once you got the belief in, and then you could believe that you could do better, now you have the awareness, like Mariel is aware that she's taking no personally as a personal attack, right? Now she has a direction to change that. Oh, every time David says no, he's not insulting me. Yeah. He's saying no just to the thing I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we can have disputes. We can disagree. He doesn't have to say yes to everything I do. Yeah. Right? But then you have to have the discipline to follow that. Yeah. So the same, I guess, the method to anything that you want to change your program, I just keep it simple like that. And I got to remember that human beings are in different stages. Yeah. So a lot of people are stuck because there's this whole, it's like a virus. Thoughts are viruses sometimes. So they spread, right? And then that becomes the reality. Yeah. So the reality right now is everyone's anxious, everyone's depressed, everyone's this, everyone's that, right? Everyone's in this shitty world. But in reality, it's like, dude, we're living way better than our grandparents ever were.
Oh, for sure.
It seems like everyone's trying to one up each other.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're depressed? No, like I'm so depressed. Like,
do you know what I call it? I call it the oppression Olympics, dude. Everybody's in the oppression Olympics right now. Yeah. They go, oh, like I talk about this, and this is like a cyclical topic, but it's like, for example, with like prejudice, right? They go, oh, well, this is what my people went through. He goes, oh, your people went through that? Well, guess what? My people went through this. It's like, dude, what
did you go through anything personally?
Yeah,
no, right?
It's cool to be a victim right now. Like, that's why the Jesse or whatever.
Smollett,
it's like, why is that even a thing? Like, why are you even expending energy on pretending to get beat up to make a statement?
It's true. It's cool.
That's so cool.
It is the cool thing to do.
It's like you're looking for drama or like, or people are just so fed up.
It's cool to get all the sympathy points.
And I think it's understandable for me when a teenager does it, right? Yeah. Because I think we all went through that phase. Yeah. But now, for how I see it, is that phase is lasting a little too long. It's going in from teenager to your early 20s, now into these 30-year-olds. Right. It goes, you should have fixed that during your figure out phase from from 13 all the way to about 22, 23. And then you start to slowly figure it out, piece by piece. Yeah. But now, because it's the norm, people want pity all the time.
Yeah. It's like you trying to say I'm running away from home every day. It's like that's what it is all the time. It's like fucking just do it then. Who gives a shit at this point?
Eventually, you're gonna have to face your fucking demons. Yeah. You can't keep running away from it all the time, and you just keep pointing fingers at everybody else. You're just gonna be in the same place. Yeah. It sucks. It's a terrible place to be. When I go to these college shows too, it is very apparent that a lot of the times some of these kids, not all, I say a decent amount, just don't like responsibility. They don't want it.
They don't want to get their hands dirty.
Yes. And they not just college students, I say adults now too. I see people in our millennial age. Yeah. They want everything, but they don't want all the shit that comes along with it. Yeah. And that's so unrealistic.
Yeah. But it's also human nature. Yeah. Because it's like government, right? Like since the dawn of time, you want the government to take care of everything for you, but you don't want to be involved in the government. But we're a democracy, we're all supposed to be involved.
Yeah.
But we just want things to run smooth without us.
Everything.
You know, like we want everything to be smooth without us putting in work.
Yeah.
And I think that's normal, but it's unrealistic, and it's gonna bite a lot of people in the ass in the future. But I mean, I feel like our parents have been saying this to us, like, you're not responsible, and their parents were probably saying that shit to them. And like, Genius Brain is brought to you by Skillshare.
Well, everybody, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of amazing classes covering dozens of creative and entrepreneurial skills. You can take classes in everything from photography and creative writing to design, productivity, and more. So whether you're returning to a long-time passion project, challenging yourself to get outside your comfort zone, or simply exploring something new, Skillshare has classes for you.
And what's pretty awesome is I've been clicking around on the website, and I saw one of my favorite authors, Simon Sinek. He wrote Start With Why. He has some videos on there. So what's awesome about Skillshare is they have a lot of like professionals and people that are experts in their field that are teaching classes. And I think it's pretty awesome to continuously learn even after school or even on the side, because when you brush up on your skills and you keep developing and growing, you become mudda awesomes.
So join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today with a special offer just for our listeners. Get 2 months of Skillshare for free. 2 months, my friends. That's right. Skillshare is offering Genius Brain listeners 2 months of unlimited access to thousands of classes for free.
Wow.
To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/brain. Again, go to Skillshare.com/brain to start your 2 months now. That's Skillshare.com/brain.
Like,
Yeah, remember,
you know what I mean?
remember that hot topic that came out? It was, I forgot what fucking news source said this, but it was like millennials don't know how to do basic shit, learning how to sew, but or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then they say some stuff, and basically the backlash behind that was that, well, it's our parents' fault because they're the ones
we inherited a fucked up world.
yeah. And it was like, I was like, okay, but my argument to that is I could be on your side, and I do understand because I'm a millennial too, but every kid or parent has had that same cyclical argument, right? It's like, well, my parents should have done this. It's nobody's reinventing the wheel here, right? So we're going to blame our parents, and then our parents blame their parents. So it's not something new. You know? Yeah. And so they're treating it as if, oh, well, your parents taught you. No, their parents didn't teach them shit either. Yeah. My parents had to figure it out as long as they were going. My grandpa fucking wasted all of his money.
Yeah.
Apparently my dad was pretty well off. My grandpa invested his money into the wrong people, took all the money out. My dad lived in fucking poverty.
Yeah.
So it's not like his dad did well either.
Yeah.
So we're all just kind of learning as we're going, you know? I just don't like that thing where people are still looking to blame somebody else for something. Like,
nowadays, we don't really have an excuse.
Yeah.
Right? Like we kind of don't, because the
Google.
information exactly like that alone is, if you want a certain piece of information, it's out there, but people want it to be delivered in a certain way, which I understand, but they want it to be simplified. They want it to be clean, concise. They want it to be presented to them immediately where it's digestible.
Yeah.
But that's just not the case. And you have to get your hands dirty and kind of do some of that work yourself. Like,
I mean, it's crazy just to think about our childhood. Like, we had to get information, you had to go physically to a library. That was the only place.
Yeah.
If it's either that or an adult tells you something. That's the only information that you got.
You have any idea how hard it was to get porn? That shit was so fucking hard, you lucky fucks. You have porn at the tip of your fucking hands now.
You could do everything. You could be a millionaire just on your phone. You could learn how to build a business on Google.
Yep.
You could fucking open up a YouTube page. You could do whatever. You could record your videos on your phone. You could post like everything. You could do everything on your fucking phone.
You could deposit a check while you're watching your favorite cam girl.
Yep.
That's tight. To get gold coins to give to your favorite cam girl.
Exactly. And she's in Russia. She speaks no English, but she understands.
Find your future wife or whatever. You could get on a relationship on your phone. You could get a booty call, come over. Like, you could do everything.
And you
on
can
your
pay
phone.
for it with Apple Pay.
Yo,
which is
let me
really
tell you
cool.
how difficult fucking porn was to get. Yo, I remember this kid, his name was Shane in high school, right? This black dude. He used to sell anime porn to
That's
people
tight.
on burned CDs because he was the one with like the DSL internet, right? That super fast internet that
Yep.
nobody had because I was still on dial-up. But I remember
He had
was
the newest albums. Yeah, there was always that one kid, and they usually have like a laptop bag full of fucking CDs.
he sold the fucking weirdest anime porn to all the other like the black kids that loved anime, but they couldn't be open about it and
He
shit.
knew this market, dude.
I learned about hentai through that kid.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? It was like weird tentacle shit. Like there was a girl who
Dicks
was like
pixelated.
it was like
Weird.
a girl who was like a ninja, and then she got caught by this monster and started fucking her in the pussy. I was like, what the fuck is this, dude?
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't regular anime. It's not supposed to look like this.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, but people used to like burn. And when I was a kid, I remember there was that dude in the neighborhood that would steal a Playboy, and he would sell his pages out the Playboy.
That's tight.
Yeah, and it would be like a buck each or some shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's expensive.
I
And
don't
you
know.
fold it up and you fucking keep it in your back pocket and shit.
In your hidden books. Yeah.
I'll cut out the mouth.
Yeah.
My penis was really small at the time.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it
now
was a
it's
small
like
mouth.
information overload, man. But that's also why we're bombarded with negativity. Like we lived in a bubble.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
we went through other dangers that they didn't go through today because kids are just home all day now.
Yeah.
But like we would like walk around the streets, get our ass fucking jacked, beat, whatever, physical danger. It was like the jungle, right? But then like now it's a whole different kind of danger.
Yeah.
Like they're just exposed to crazy shit real early.
And it's so much more readily available.
Yeah.
It's everywhere now.
Yeah.
And it's accessible. You could talk to fucking Joe from Nebraska while he's calling you a cunt online.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, what? Why is this guy talking shit to me? He should not be able to talk to me at all. And he's calling me a fucking asshole or having weird ears or something like that.
We had our own version of shit though. We had fucking Rate a Pic, which was crazy.
Rate a pic.
Find a pics, rate a pics.
Yeah, where you just literally put up a photo of yourself and people rate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're hot or
Zeros.
not. Yeah.
I never did that shit because I already knew what my rating would be.
Yeah.
And I refused to give people ammo like that. I fucking refused, dude. I was like, listen, I know I'm ugly. I don't need you to see it.
tell me
And
that.
I don't need an actual star rating for it for you to tell me how ugly I am.
I don't need it to be official. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I don't want paperwork behind how much you think I'm ugly. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I get it every day
Statistics.
anyways.
Yeah, I don't want pros and cons on my picture.
There was
or
that.
all
There was
cons.
fucking Zanga and shit.
Zanga, dude. That's so crazy.
I never had a Zanga account.
Yeah, that was for fucking emotional bitches like me.
They like
I
wrote
had one.
blogs and
Yeah.
shit.
I had one just because my Indian friend, his name was Manik, and he would
My nickel.
yeah he would show me all the tight shit on MySpace, Zanga, LimeWire. That's where he would download all the porn, and then he would
Napster.
send it to me. Yeah, and I'd be like, and we would go to his house and like watch like
Dude,
porn.
I
It
was
the
so
weirdest thing
upset
ever.
when I was downloading like fucking Boys to Men and all this other random music through LimeWire, but you get so many porn viruses.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even download porn because it was so slow. Right, because it would be videos. I could barely download an MP3. It took like fucking 3 hours to download one song.
Yeah.
And so my dad, I remember he started like he was kind of cool about it, but he was laughing at me. He goes, "Dude, you watch a lot of porn." Because like when I clicked your thing, I saw this girl's pussy and shit like that. And my mom was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I didn't even watch porn, dude. I was downloading an R&B song. I'm in love, dude."
Yeah.
And then it sucked
That's
because
a great excuse.
But they didn't understand that it was a virus because you
Yeah.
would click on all these things and it would just constantly pop up over and over and over. Because I would watch porn at my neighbor's house because I was smart. You know, I didn't watch it in
They
my
would
shit.
never know the struggle of a 40-minute download for one song.
Yeah. You know what we used to do to watch porn? My buddy, I don't know how he got these recorded, but on VHS, he had it recorded the real sex on HBO. Do you remember those?
No.
What is that?
Oh, the
never used-
softcore ones?
Yeah, but it was this, and it was like he would just have it on cassette, and he'd play it, and we'd sit and we'd just watch it and be like, man, this is crazy.
Dude, we call that the spank bank moments. Just like,
Yeah.
I'm not going
I'm
to
gonna save this later.
Yeah, you take pictures.
No,
of
my
it.
friends would just start beating off. Yeah.
You're like, yo, man, I can see your dick.
It's like,
They would
all
just
right.
beat off right in front of
This
everybody.
fool told me that when he was in elementary school, there was a kid that used to just whip out his dick
Yeah.
and just rub the tip of his dick.
yeah. He would just beat off in front of everybody.
That's a tight move, though.
Yeah.
Just doing that.
Yeah.
That shit should
He would
fucking
jack off like
hurt.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that
His
fucking
dick was
hurt?
flat though, like the top of his head was like
Yeah.
just flat. It
He,
wasn't.
yeah, he would put his dick right here. His dick head was popping out, and he would like rub his fingers
Dude,
on
that'd
it,
be
like.
Like he rubbed it so much as an adult, his dick just looks like a Vienna sausage. That's just like
It's a flathead. It's a flathead screwdriver.
why does your shit just look like a fucking AAA battery, dude? It's like so flat on top. What's going on? I don't know. Oh, you know what? We were actually supposed to get into the actual topic.
Oh yeah,
Nah, this is better. This is better. Let's just talk about early porn moments. Your first boner, go.
Okay, first boner ever. Actually, I don't even remember my first boner, to be honest with you.
You
What?
do?
I do.
How do you remember your first boner?
Because
I've been
I was-
having boners since like ever.
This is I think I was in second grade, and I was in my living room with my family. It was movie night, and I was laying on my belly, and we watched Titanic.
Oh, and then when she saw boobs,
And I was like, what? And I was like, what's going on?
did you tell your mom something's happening?
Nope. I knew something. I had to keep that to myself. I knew that's what it was. Inherently, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep this quiet, and then that was it.
It's funny because we had a conversation on JK News where everybody was talking about the first time they jacked off, and I couldn't remember it, and I feel like that's such a memorable moment.
You don't remember yours?
I only remembered it not too long ago.
It must have been so bad that you just fucking like buried it.
I remember now is because when I think I was a kid and I woke up in the middle of the night and I just started fucking jacking off.
That's tight.
Right? Just because it was like an urge that you had.
Yeah.
I remember when something came out, it felt weird. It kind of hurt a little bit because I guess you've never done it before. And that shit like fucking hurt.
Your dick dry heaves cum, but nothing comes out, but you're just like, well, I don't like coming.
Yeah, it hurt. I was like, ow.
I pulled your homie's move, and instead of doing this, I went.
Damn,
And I was like,
you try to plug in the cum?
I didn't know. I was like, I thought I was peeing. I was like, oh no, I'm peeing everywhere. Like this is bad. And I just,
dude, that's gonna be such a weird moment when my fucking kid jacks off. I'll tell you this: the moment I find out that my kid's jacking off, I'm gonna take him to the side. I was like, by the way, you do your own laundry now.
yeah.
All right, the fucking shit is starched.
That's gonna be dangerous.
You want to hear
man.
like the most? This is probably one of my most embarrassing stories, and I just started telling this to people. When I was like, I think I was in like 4th or 5th grade. Your boy was just going to work. Your boy was going to work, and I think I used to beat off in the shower a lot.
Smart move.
For whatever reason, I would always go on my tippy toes. I don't know why.
Because it helps you come easier.
Yeah, it does, right? Okay, see, I said that to people, and people were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And when you flex your quad, see, this is isometric strength right here.
Feels like you're just
When you flex your quad, it just helps. For whatever reason, I don't know. There's people that could like confirm this, but anyway, so
I confirm.
Okay, perfect. That's all I need to hear. So I would always do in the shower, and then I started getting like cramps in my calves because your boy was dehydrated.
So you're fucking busting and you're cramping and you're
yeah,
falling in the shower?
So one time I got a limp, right? And I was like walking around the house. So where my room was right next to the kitchen, and it was a short little walk. My dad was in the living room, which is probably like 20 feet down. And this dude, his back is facing me, and he's facing the TV. He hears my door open. He goes, "Hey, Nick." And I go, "Yeah, what's up?" He goes, "You got to stop masturbating so much." And I was like, "What? No, I'm not." And I ran in. I grabbed a cup of water because your boy was parched. And I ran back in my room, and I closed the door, and I was like, I was just so nervous.
How does he
I was like,
know?
oh my God, how does he
You're
know?
probably going, ta, ta, ta.
Yeah.
That's because
I'm just banging the wall.
That's because you were screaming as you were doing it.
I'm masturbating.
It's like,
and I'm just
it's
screaming.
like, Dick, the fucking walls aren't soundproof, all right? Your father's a sound engineer. I know what masturbating sounds like. It sounds like you're making mochi in there.
He just hears me doing this. And I'm like, I don't know what's giving it away. I don't get it.
He's like telling you, he's like, dude, you fucking come really fast.
Because when you're in 4th grade or 5th grade or whatever, like you think you're the smartest person ever.
You think you're super stealth?
You don't. You
I
don't
like
know
how
what
your
the
dad
fuck
couldn't
is
even
up.
look you in the eye because he was so ashamed.
Quit jacking off.
He just like, I just see him from the back, like, hey, you gotta stop jacking off, dude.
Say, hey, come master 3000. Ease up on your dick a little bit, please.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking
You ripped your foreskin again.
Hilarious. Yo, so people don't know that when you go on your tip and you flex, you could come way faster.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I used to get my dick stuck in the shower.
I gotta try that shit.
Yeah, when I used to
try
get
it.
my dick stuck in the shower by a previous girlfriend,
Tight.
she didn't understand because I guess like when she would like suck dick before, nobody would ever just like stand like kind of like flex it. They would just kind of let it happen because they want to get their dick sucked a lot longer. But for me,
you're just like, I'm trying to
yeah, because it's hot in the shower. I would get dizzy.
Yeah, and I feel bad that you're on your knees right now.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm trying to come as fast as possible. And once that cum hits your face, and then the fucking water happens, and the hot water, it coagulates. I don't want that shit.
You don't want to smell your own cum.
Yeah, I want to
I
fast.
don't smell no bleach in the shower.
Hey, come on now. Yeah, so I would just like stand on my tip and flex that shit. It's like, just get it over with. Yeah, and
This was trying to charge up with his fucking tippy toes.
Well, that's why David has such nice quads too, because he has such nice quad development. Because he's just so used to that isometric hold.
Damn, dude.
You should do your fucking cum tutorials on your Instagram, dude.
Oh, that'd be tight.
Yeah.
So you guys want to get that nice quad and calf development. Make sure that when you jack off in the shower, flex them real tight.
Yeah,
Lock it in.
Because that's the exercise that most people do on a regular basis.
Sex exercises.
Yeah.
Sexercises. Yeah,
Come on.
sexercises.
That's one of the most mortifying stories I've ever heard in my life. You're right when you just come out. Hey, son, stop jacking off so much. I can hear you. It sounds like drumline in there, dude.
Yeah. He's like, I know you don't play drums because you're not musically talented. It was like a snare. It was like
Try a different rhythm, damn it. It's like the build up in a fucking EDM song.
And then he's like, "Where's the bass? It didn't drop. Like, what's going on? The beat didn't drop."
What the?
He's like, "What's this build up?"
Dude, you were jacking off mad early, dude.
Dude, I was jacking it. I think it was fourth grade.
Damn.
I had a lot of older friends.
You know,
and
Did
would
they
teach
tell
me.
you how to do it? Because
They told me sunscreen. That's what they told me to use.
Sunscreen.
Yeah.
for the slipperiness.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I refrained from jacking off for the longest time because of the religious aspect. Because I felt so much guilt with it. And
That when I was in Christian school, the number one question they would ask
how
in like
often you
sex
masturbate?
ed was like, "Is it a sin to masturbate?"
Well, the kids were asking?
Dude, no. They wrote the question on a piece of paper and
Anonymous
they put it in a
questions?
hat. So then they pulled it out and it was like same question. Because
There's probably a lot of kids jacking off.
Yeah. It was insane. And we were all jacking off. And then we were all like looking at each other like,
Yeah.
you know, because we all knew we were beating our meats everywhere.
Because when I did that the first time, from then on, I just remember there was a period where I felt so much guilt for it,
Did
right?
you end up singing some fucking songs and
what
reading?
a friend we have it, Jesus. No, but we had.
I better read from Genesis all the way to Revelations.
I felt like mad guilt for masturbating, and I remember feeling like shit. So I would try not to do it as much. But there was a certain point where I remember I was like, you know what? I can't resist this shit. I'm just going just get rid of it.
You probably would have been a serial killer if you.
Dude,
like,
I would
held
have
it
gotten
in.
way better grades if I just would have masturbated way earlier.
Yeah, straight up. You had all
Yeah.
that pent up like aggression.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because I felt so sinful because of that shit, dude.
Yeah.
As soon as I found out masturbation, that became a sport for me, man.
Yeah. You were like, where can I do it? How can I?
Dude,
How often can I do it?
What can I use? What
Yeah.
massagers? Like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
day, man.
The only thing, I guess the biggest reason why I liked it so much was because after I would come, I could focus so much better. Like,
But it only lasts so long.
You're like, I got to do it again.
dude, I figured out how to cure cancer in 3 seconds and I forgot it because I had to come again.
Yeah, you're like, shit.
It's like, you know, in a teen's mind, that's when you think the most clear. Right when you come, that fucking 30 seconds, you're like, oh my God, I know
was
the
I
meaning of life.
thinking?
And then you, oh fuck, I gotta jack off again.
I can't wait for the day where I don't have to come anymore, where my sexual drive just dissipates a lot more.
Or just like, as soon as you come.
I mean, it's definitely not as
Potent.
like when you're younger though, when you're like in your little teens, all you think about is coming on everything.
Yeah.
Like you just want to come on anything and everybody.
You're just rubbing up on like
Yeah.
things that you would normally never rub up
Yeah,
on.
you're like trying to hump this or that or whatever.
yeah.
When I was a kid, I remember one of my brother's friends. He mentioned the word "come" to me, and I didn't know what the fuck that was.
I didn't know what it was either.
Yeah, he goes, I forgot what he said, but he said the word "come," and I was like, "What's that?" And then my brother stepped in. He goes, "What the fuck are you teaching my brother?" You know?
Yeah.
He goes, like, your brother doesn't know what "come" is yet.
That's late in the game though. I think like you don't learn that until you're in like late middle school.
Well, because you were
high
beat
school.
off, and when you're young, it looks like saliva. There's no white.
You
Yeah.
would just call it busting a nut when you were
Yeah.
in 5th grade. No, you wouldn't call it that.
Yeah, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And then my brother was like super irritated at the dude. He's like, don't fucking tell my brother that type of shit. And I was just like, "Come. What is come?"
Dude, I think I had pretty
Stop saying come!
sexually advanced friends in 5th grade. Like there were already kids already fucking, man.
That's so crazy.
5th grade? Yeah, they were like they had like they would hang out, and then like there's like 3 of them fucking, 4 of them fucking, and like I don't know if they know what they're doing. Yeah,
that was not the complete opposite of me. I was just like, yo, you guys are fucking. I'm just gonna be jacking off.
And then I see the girls that they're fucking though. I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah.
You know, I never. Yeah, I don't know. I think I know in 7th and 8th grade kids were fucking for sure.
Yeah,
for sure they were fucking.
But by that time, when I went to junior high, I was like, I think, you know, going to Christian school and stuff, and then no one was fucking. And then when I went back to high school, people were already pregnant and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, damn, 9th graders pregnant, man.
That's insane.
Can you imagine that shit now? Because I look at high schoolers now, like, I'm like, oh my God, we were babies.
Yeah.
But they were pregnant girls in school, man. I was like, what the fuck?
When I used to work at Giant Rockets, I remember I waited on a table, and there were these two. It was 2 couples, and they were maybe freshmen.
So that was a fancy date for them.
Oh, dude, they were out, and they were both pregnant, and I just was like,
oh shit,
it was insane.
My so there's a lot of Hmong people in Sacramento, and there was just so right next to my parents' store, there's a Hmong supermarket, and there was a girl that grew up with me around that area, and I remember she got pregnant when she was 14, when we were 14, and I was so shocked because I didn't know her. I was like, wait, I thought she was my age. Why is she pregnant? And that's when I started learning just from like the Hmong homies. They were teaching me about their culture and shit. They're like, well, like when you're young, like
they already get married at 15 and stuff.
It's like, she's actually already married. She already actually has a husband.
Yeah.
So she had her kid when she was like 14 and 15.
Dude.
And then she ended up having like 6 or 7 kids. And I guess there's like in the Hmong culture, they were, I'm not sure if it's practiced now, but they were telling me that they would do this thing where they go into their house and they kidnap the girl.
Yeah.
And they would bring him over, and that's how you make them your bride. And I'm not sure if it's really practiced now or if it's just more of a formality.
Yeah.
But that's the whole ritual, because they were very traditional Hmong, like shamanism. They did all that stuff. So that's how she became a bride. He came into the house at the night and stole her away. And that's like tradition of what happens in the
I mean, when I lived in a Hmong village, I was just mind blown because I was about 14 at the time. And there were like full blown families, like husband and wife, 2 kids or whatever.
Yup.
They're like my age. And I'm just looking at them like, wow, they're like adults.
Yeah.
And then they're already like so responsible and shit, man.
That's
like,
so crazy.
but that was the most of human like history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that weird. Like if you look at just overall just human history, that's normal.
Dude, look at Game of Thrones.
As soon as a woman was on her period, she's ready to pop babies out.
She's flowered.
And that's actually the most healthiest too.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah,
That makes sense though, I guess, like biologically.
Dude,
biologically, yeah. But then we're just such an advanced societal.
Yeah. But then
group now.
you go
so different.
You go across the world, and the legal age for like consensual sex or like marriage or whatever is like
16 or something.
yeah, it's
like
all
that.
over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Apparently, I heard Hawaii, it's
Yeah.
like a lot younger than 18.
Oh, really?
I heard it's like 16. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I heard this or I just made it up right now.
But definitely, like historically speaking, we read all this stuff like in like history books, like just from back in the day. People get wed to young women,
Yeah.
and even I guess just from like a biological standpoint, when that's their optimal, right? That's when
crazy.
like the eggs are the freshest. That's
Yep.
when you have like these kids who are super
The healthiest, strongest, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Damn, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine you just lived in a time. Well, we do kind of.
I mean, it's just weird to us, I think, because especially in LA, have you noticed like people are still getting married and popping out kids in their early 20s in the Midwest and like small towns and whatever, or especially military, because they get really good benefits and shit. So they get married and pop out kids real quick.
But then you know some people that like they have a baby and you're like, oh no, you should have not had a baby. And that's what the issue is, I guess, with like the younger kids.
because they're too stupid. Because like when I was in the Hmong village, right, and then I saw these like 14 to 16-year-old parents, they to me were so damn responsible and like mature, and they were just adults already. Like they were treated like adults. They were running shit. They were working. They were super responsible. I think like now, but in our society, like what, 14-year-olds are just infants.
Yeah.
They're stupid as fuck.
But then some people rise to the occasion, right? Like if
I
they
guess
do
so.
have a baby, like that's the flip side of it. Like they have a baby and they're like, oh, this person became way more responsible and it changed the
I
paradigm
could
for
not
them.
imagine having a kid as a 14-year-old. Like I just started my life.
Dude, at 14, you know the shit I was doing at 14? Oh my God. I would have raised a monster probably.
I could barely imagine me having a kid now.
Yeah.
I still feel like a child.
Yeah.
Right? So you, like just having a conversation with my best friend back at home, he's just like, do you still sometimes feel like you're a kid? I was like, dude, I still feel like I'm a child.
But I also think it's because you have to teach them the rules and structures of our society.
Yeah.
So if you lived in a village, right? What are you
doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Food. That's it.
Go
The
hunt.
social rules of that village.
Yeah.
That's it. So you
Might as well have a kid.
As long as you got fucking lactating titties, you're a good mother. You could fucking feed the baby.
Yeah, that's tight.
Right? And then the baby grows, helps out with the farm, fucking catches some pigs or whatever.
That's true.
That's it. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. But in our society, you need to teach them about fucking, careers and becoming successful and all this shit. And like, you want them to be intelligent so they can compete and also be a, worldly human being. And there's just so many fucking things to teach.
Way more on the plate.
We have options. And I think that's what a lot of people, that's true. Because we do have a lot of options.
Yeah. And it's either that they're going to be poor and living in a fucked up area and their quality of life is not as good as someone that's rich and whatever. Like you got to teach them the rules of that, the social structures, all this shit, the laws, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of shit we got to teach. It's just so much on our plate.
Yeah.
Not saying that the village shit is easier. It's just their values are different.
Yeah.
Like you pop out kids, family values, community, everything is just local. They don't got to deal with too much.
Yeah, because that's true. Because when I'm thinking, even prior to me wanting to really just tackle this career in entertainment, because I always wanted to do stand-up comedy when I was younger, but I still didn't relinquish the thought because I grew up in Sacramento. Sacramento's not a big a lot of people don't go into entertainment within Sacramento. They'll move to LA.
Yeah.
And so for me, that thought of moving to LA didn't pop in my head until I started doing YouTube.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I was just thinking, I'm just gonna get married, white picket fence, get married to this chick that I know, and after that, just have kids and just maybe do stand up on the side, and I'd be happy. And I didn't really. And then when I broke out of this phase and I had bigger goals for myself, having kids scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Being in a relationship scared the fuck out of me. I didn't want
because your values and options change, man. Like what you're capable of, what you can do. It's just so different.
Yeah, and people are like, well, why didn't you? He's like, you still don't want this? Like, no, I want it, but right now it's a very frightening thought for me.
Yeah,
like I want to run the fuck away from it.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like that before. All I could think about was, I want to marry it was my very first girlfriend at the time. I want to marry this girl.
That was me at 18.
Yeah,
yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It's so insane.
Now I'm just like, can I just like turn back my age? Like, what's up, man? I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely, dude, we fucking ran through this shit like nothing. It's already like 57 minutes to an hour in.
So should we just plug up what we were supposed to talk about?
Yeah, man. Let me do
the next one. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, it was super good, man. Yo, that ends this episode of The Genius. That shit was so fucking fast.
Damn, really? Shit.
Yeah, that shit was another hour.
All right, Dan.
Yeah, it was an hour.
Yeah, man. Well, you guys,
I hope you guys enjoyed this beautiful talk. We went from psychology to
jacking off
to porn.
Nick's fucking sick perversion of jacking off at a very high rate.
Tippy toe coming techniques.
Yeah, guys, try it out. Just tag me. Let me know how it works out for you guys.
Hashtag tippy toe coming, and then also tag Nick the Ear.
Nick the Ear, and, tippy toe coming style.
And you'll see how fast.
If you guys need any tips or tricks, just DM me.
DM me. Show me a picture of your dick.
Yeah. Preferably do that.
Send
first.
them a lot of dick pictures.
Yeah. But like, just do it anyway.
Just grab it by the base and smash it like a Gopher game. That's how you do it.
Boom.
But anyways, guys, you guys can catch us on Stitcher,
iTunes.
Yep. Spotify. We need those 5 stars. We want those comments below. We want everybody to be interactive. I guess like for me, what would be really dope is I want to hear your guys' story of the first time you ever jacked off.
Put that in the comments below.
If you're watching this on YouTube, I want to know these stories.
First time.
And maybe we'll bring it up.
Yeah.
And you know what? We don't want to hear jack off stories from just boys.
Yeah.
From the ladies.
Girls too.
Yep.
I mean, not like children boys, all right?
Yeah.
If you're fucking under 18, don't tell me those damn stories.
Yeah, don't tell us.
You sick fucks.
That shit's like a romantic novel for children. Don't fucking do that shit.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
You guys have to be of age.
Nick, where can they find you? You sack of shit.
You could find me at Nick the Ear on Instagram. or nicktheear.com.
That's right. He's also a man who does personal fitness, personal training, soon to be NASM certified.
Nah, dude, not NASM. CSCS.
CSCS,
Come
even
on,
better.
baby.
Even better than NASM, dude.
Come on, baby.
You know what I'm saying? Hit him up, dude. Let him know. He's partially the reason why I've just continued to gain weight.
If you guys,
It's all your fault, Nick.
If you guys want any tips or just any nutrition advice or whatever, just hit up David and not me.
All right, y'all. See y'all next time. Peace.
Goodbye.
Yes, sir.